Hi everyone, very good afternoon and welcome back to CGB Mentors. So in this particular session, we are going to talk about the module 2, that is retail products and recovery. Let us start with question number 1. So which of the following is not a typical characteristic of a retail asset product, right? There are a few of the options given to you. Not a typical characteristics is something that they have asked. So yes, usually it generates income for the borrower. This is not the characteristic of retail asset product. Why? Because retail assets like home and vehicle loans, they generally do not generate any kind of income for the customer. This is not an income generating source, right? Repayment comes from the other sources of income like the salary or the business income of the person. Now, what are the three broad categories of the retail banking products? Three broad categories, obviously assets, liabilities and the other products and services. This is how you divide the retail banking segment in, right? So you have liability products like savings, current, term deposit, asset products like home loans, auto loans, personal loans, and you have other products like credit, debit cards, mobile banking, mutual funds, etc. These are the parts and parcel of retail banking. Now next is in the case of housing loans, which is the typical quantum of the loans offered by the bank. कितना टाइमिंग का यहाँ पे आपको बता रहे हैं कि what is the amount that it is holding as a portion of your monthly income. So housing loans 48 to 60 times of the monthly income. This is the typical quantum of the loan that is offered by the bank. Whatever is going to be your monthly income, 48 to 60 times we are going to provide you the house loan for. Now what is FOIR and why it is used in the retail banking? So FOIR, it's a method to ensure repayment affordability, right? Whether you can afford repayments or not. This is what we check with the FOIR, fixed obligation to income ratio. What is your income? What are your fixed obligations because of loans? And this is one of the methods that we use to ensure that the borrower should not do the over borrowing. Now, as per the Maslow's hierarchy, what fundamental principle guides the design of retail banking product? See, retail banking, Maslow's hierarchy theory talks about the needs. ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक needs के बारे में बात करते हैं. So satisfaction of tiered customer needs. This is what the basic premise of Maslow's need hierarchy. Fulfilling the needs like safety, insurance, belonging, joint accounts, right? Self-esteem needs, creditworthiness and self-actualization like wealth management. So this is the premise. Now what is the key risk in the retail lending due to ease of delivery and sanction, and how should banks mitigate it? So the problem with the retail lending is fraudulent application, right? And we can mitigate it with the strict know your customer norms. आपका जो KYC होना चाहिए वो बहुत strict होना चाहिए, so that you can ensure there are no fraudulent applications. Now which of the following charges must be transparently disclosed to the retail loan applicant? If there is an applicant who is applying for a retail loan, what are the charges that the banks has to tell the customer? So what are the processing charges, documentation charges, inspection charges and the mortgage charges? These are some of the charges that you have to disclose very prominently to the customer. Now, why do banks prefer projects registered under RERA while sanctioning the housing loans? Now this is such an obvious thing, right? These are government owned, developer gets subsidies, it ensures legal compliance and accountability. Yes, that is the correct answer. We want compliances from the authorities, right? So legal compliances, accountability from developers, and that is why we banks also consider the projects which are approved by the RERA, right? Now, what is the purpose of cross-selling in the retail banking, right? So, over here to offer additional suitable products to the existing customers, we do the cross-selling. आप हमारे customer हैं, you already have a credit card with us, so we would also like to provide you an insurance, right? This is how the cross-selling works in the retail banking. Next is, which dimension of the service quality evaluates the appearance of facilities and the personnel? So we evaluate it through tangibles. What is that? Tangible refers to the physical aspects like the appearance of bank branches, employee का dress code क्या है, brochures, etc., which creates a first impression for the customer. Now, which is the key performance indicator for savings bank service quality? Loan sanction time, credit card billing accuracy, savings account activation time, ATM downtime, frequency. Over here, we are talking about what is the key performance indicator, how the customer is going to judge your savings bank quality. So, obviously, how much time you are taking to activate the savings account, that is the key performance indicator of your savings bank related services. Now, which of the following combination of product best aligns with the physiological needs in the Maslow's hierarchy theory? Maslow has the need hierarchy theory here where he talks about physiological needs, right? Security needs. He also talks about self-esteem. He talks about self-actualization, social needs, etc., etc. So out of that, which of the products best aligns with the physiological needs of the Maslow's hierarchy? Systematic investment plan, core savings account, pensioner loans, special term deposits. Now out of these, which of the following looks the most basic one to you? कौन सा आपको सबसे basic लगता है? That is obviously the core savings account and the personal accident cover. Now, next is what is the primary benefit of the market segmentation in the retail banking, right? So, how does it helps us? It enables the banks to tailor products and services for the specific customer groups, right? So, this is the primary benefit of the market segmentation. Now, in the context of retail banking, which of the following is an example of augmented product? Recurring deposit account, savings account with the ATM debit card, term loan to a business, mobile banking bundled with a group health insurance. So over here, augmented means you have enhanced the product, not just with the basic feature, but also with some of the enhanced separate features. So over here, mobile banking bundled with the group health insurance. This is the correct answer, where you have given the mobile banking, but along with that, you have also provided the group health insurance. Now, which among the following correctly distinguishes the core and augmented products in the retail banking? How do we differentiate it? So, obviously, core products are stable and essential. Augmented products just provide the extra value and comfort. Just like in the previous example, we have seen that the insurance product was providing the extra comfort along with the mobile banking. Now, why do some banking products experience immediate failures after introduction as per the product life cycle concept? ठीक है, product life cycle concept के हिसाब से there will be an uptime as well as a downtime in the life of product. So why the some banking products experiences the immediate failure? Obviously, because there is no market research and mismatch with the customer expectations. See, with time, as the time passes, every product is going to stabilize or eventually fail. But immediate failure should not occur. Immediate failure would only occur if you have not done the proper market research. Now, which of the following is not a feature of basic current account in the demand deposit category? So, not usually a basic feature of basic current account, right? Savings का तो हम फिर भी मान सकते हैं, but current का नहीं होता, personal accident cover, right? And then we have what is one of the key characteristics of recurring deposit under term deposit? क्या है recurring deposit का एक key characteristic? It gives you flexibility with respect to the amount payable every month. ठीक है, हर महीने आपको कितना अमाउंट पे करना है, you can just choose that. Now, next is what is the defining feature of combination term deposit? Combination means it merges the features of recurring deposit as well as the fixed deposit. दोनों के features को आप एक साथ combine कर देते हैं, and that is what we call as combination term deposit. So, it's a hybrid structure, right? It provides a flexible structuring for customers who wants both regular savings and the fixed return option. So, they can go for the combination term deposits. Now, what is the main benefit of the fixed deposit under term deposit product? So, over here you have got various interest options. ठीक है, आपको बहुत सारे interest के payout options मिलेंगे, and this is one of the major benefits of these kind of products. Now, next we have is in the structure of deposit products, which of the following categories does not fall under demand deposits? कौन सा demand deposits में नहीं आएगा? Obviously, fixed deposit is not a demand deposit because here you cannot withdraw the amount as and when you want it. ठीक है, जब भी आपको जरूरत पड़ेगी तब आप इसको withdraw नहीं कर सकते हो. So hence this is not a demand deposit. Now, as per the RBI guidelines, what restrictions is typically applied to the savings account? No withdrawal account allowed. Limitations on number and amount of withdrawals in a given period, no restrictions at all, and only one transactions per day is allowed. So, the correct amount of restriction is that there is obviously a limitation on the number and amount of withdrawals in a given period. In one of our module, we have done that how many number of e-transactions, 5 transactions are allowed to you, right? You can do that. Next is, what facility do many banks offer in savings account that help customers to earn higher interest rates? क्या फैसिलिटी है जो बहुत सारे बैंक्स ऑफर करते हैं सेविंग्स अकाउंट में जो कि कस्टमर्स को हेल्प करती है हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट अर्न करने के लिए? दैट इज स्वीप इन स्वीप आउट फैसिलिटी. हाउ डज दैट वर्क? सो इट अलाउज ऑटोमेटिक ट्रांसफर ऑफ फंड्स फ्रॉम अ फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट ऑफरिंग हायर इंटरेस्ट व्हेन द बैलेंस एक्सीड्स अ सेट थ्रेशोल्ड. सो दिस इज स्वीप इन स्वीप आउट फैसिलिटी. Now, which of the following is not a condition for small account under RBI rules? कौन सी condition नहीं है? So, read the conditions and the correct answer is B, that monthly withdrawals must not exceed 20,000, whereas the correct RBI condition is 10,000, that monthly withdrawals should not exceed 10,000, right? Balance 50,000 से exceed नहीं करना चाहिए, annual credits must not exceed 1 lakh, so this is the limitation of small accounts that has been mentioned by the RBI. Now, as per RBI deregulation in 2011, what are banks required to follow while setting interest rates on savings deposit? आपको क्या फॉलो करना है? डिफरेंट रेट्स पर कस्टमर, रेट सब्जेक्ट टू नेगोशिएशन विद डिपॉजिटर, यूनिफॉर्म इंटरेस्ट रेट across similar deposits on the same day. Yes, that is something that the banks has to follow. If you have got the similar kind of deposit that you are giving, so you have to charge a similar amount of interest rate as well on the same day. Next, which of the following is not a characteristics of term deposit account? So, in case of term deposit, obviously you cannot withdraw it without notice. ठीक है, आपको पहले बताना पड़ेगा that this is something that you want to withdraw. If you haven't given the notice, you cannot withdraw it. Next is, what happens to a term deposit if it is not withdrawn on the maturity date? अगर आपने withdraw नहीं किया है, then it is going to be treated as an overdue deposit and it becomes a demand deposit. That means the interest that you are going to get would be equivalent to your demand deposit. ठीक है, आपको term deposit का नहीं मिलेगा once it has exceeded its maturity. Now, which of the following document is not listed as an officially valid document under KYC norm? कौन सा आपका officially valid document नहीं है? So, PAN card is not an officially valid document, right? Passport, driving license, voter ID, Aadhaar, Narega job card, MPR letter, they are 6 officially verifiable documents. Now, in which case must a PAN be compulsorily provided? So, if your cash deposit is exceeding 50,000 rupees, the PAN has to be compulsorily provided, right? In a floating rate term deposit, the interest rate is linked to. Floating rate term deposit क्या होता है? We have linked your interest rate with an external benchmark. Suppose we have linked your interest rate with the RBI repo rate. So, what is that? That is an external benchmark, right? So, a transparent external benchmark, the interest rate is linked to. If a customer holds multiple term deposits under their name or family member's name, how should the bank treat them? अगर बहुत सारे term deposits हैं खुद के नाम पे या family member के नाम पे, तो उनको कैसे treat करें? See over here, so have to treat each as a separate contract. भले ही वो same नाम में है या family में है, we cannot combine them, right? And they have to be treated under the separate contract. Now, in a partially centralized model of account opening, which of the following typically occurs at the branch level, right? So, in case of this account opening and the issue of passbooks, this is a kind of item which will happen at the branch level, or this is the kind of activity which will happen at the branch space. Now, which of the following statement is true about eKYC using UIDAI, right? The Aadhaar authority. So, it is considered as an officially valid document. Obviously, just now we have talked about that there are 6 officially valid documents and the PAN is obviously not a part of them. Next, which organization is authorized by the Government of India to operate as a central KYC records registry? कौन सी organization है? UIDAI, NSDL, CERSAI, SEBI. So, CERSAI is the officially authorized agency for storing and sharing the KYC data of the customer, Central Registry of Securitization, Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. What is the periodic KYC updation frequency for medium risk customers? So, every 8 years, medium risk customers का KYC record update होना चाहिए. Which of the following is a non-fund based service provided by banks? Non-fund based service, right? So, in this particular case, if you will see all the options, letter of credit is one such thing where the funds are not exchanged. This is the kind of guarantee which a bank provides and it would be used only if one party fails, right? So this is a non-fund based service. Now, which of these retail credit products is self-liquidating in nature? Auto loan, term loan, bill finance, personal loan. Bill finance, see, it's self-liquidating, means the loan is repaid from the proceeds of the bill when they are realized. Bill finance के केस में क्या होता है? Bank has given you a finance, and as and when the bank will be able to recover the invoice payment from the buyer, your loan amount would automatically be dissolved, क्योंकि उसकी पेमेंट तो फिर हो जाएगी, आपको करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपने पैसा ले लिया है, लेकिन बायर से जैसे ही पैसा रिकवर कर लिया जाएगा, वो पेमेंट ऑटोमेटिक हो जाएगी. Now, co-acceptance of the bills means, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? That banks undertakes the payment if the buyer defaults. This is what the co-acceptance of the bill means, कि बैंक जो है वो पेमेंट लेंगे अगर buyer default करते हैं, तो बैंक will make the payment. Now, what does third party distribution in banking typically involves? Third party distribution का मतलब क्या होता है? Selling financial products of other companies to the customer. ठीक है, जैसे कि आपका एक बैंक है, बैंक is generally not involved in the insurance, but still it sells the insurance products. So what is that? Third party distribution. Now, in banking, which of the following would be considered as a generic product? Cardless ATM withdrawals, term deposit with cumulative interest, savings bank account, multi deposit with partial withdrawal facility. किसको हम generic मानेंगे यहाँ पे? So over here, a generic product is a core undifferentiated offering like the savings bank account without unique features or branding. यहाँ पे हम कोई unique feature नहीं दे रहे हैं आपको. बाकी सब में देखो cardless ATM withdrawals, multi deposit with partial withdrawal facility. Over in all of these, we have provided a unique feature to you, right? Whereas when I talk about a savings bank account, I'm not providing you any kind of unique feature. The unfixed deposit by a foreign bank is a classic case of which project management concept? So over here, what we are doing is product positioning. See, unfixed deposit, it used product positioning by standing out in the customer's minds in a crowded fixed deposit market through a unique name and offer. ठीक है, आपने कुछ what you can say features add on किए. What you have done is you have changed the name of your product, and now what you are actually doing is you are positioning your product so that it stands out in the market. As per the marketing experts, what is the key aspect of the product positioning? क्या होता है key aspect? The perception that you create in the customer's mind. For example, if you see outside banking, you would like to take example of Apple, right? The iPhone has got a perception in customers' mind. Obviously, that perception is being changed now, right? People are not that much attracted towards it, but still there is a perception, right? Now, which of the following is not a factor typically considered in a credit score? क्या नहीं consider किया जाता? Educational qualification. It doesn't matter. In a credit score, we would like to know that how you have made the payment. So payment history, type of credit use, current outstanding, these are all the relevant things. Now, what role do the credit information companies play in the credit scoring ecosystem? So they maintain the credit history and they generate the credit scores by using that particular history. ठीक है, credit history को maintain करना, credit score generate करना, this is what the CICs do. Now, which of the following statements about the credit scores is correct? So obviously a score above 700 is generally considered good in India. ठीक है, that is the correct statement. Now, as per the RBI guidelines, can a non-lending bank open a current account for a borrower with existing CCOD facilities from other banks? So it cannot happen. Non-lending banks cannot open such kind of current account. RBI notification has said that non-lending banks are not permitted to open current accounts for such kind of borrowers, right? Now, what is the primary purpose of monitoring newly opened current accounts for the first 6 months? हम क्यों monitor करते हैं newly opened current accounts को? So that we can protect and prevent the fraudulent or suspicious transactions. That is the first and foremost thing. Now, for a person who has lost both the hands, so which of the following is a valid method of operating savings bank account? किस तरीके से operate कर सकते हैं? Using only a nominee to withdraw, signing withdrawal with a pen held in a mouth, right? So over here the correct method is using toe impressions or other marks as a signature substitute. यहाँ पे हम इसको use करेंगे signature के substitute में, so that the person can utilize the banking services. Now what is the main advantage of maintaining a monthly average balance in a savings bank account? क्या है good part? So it permits the unlimited withdrawal without penalties. ठीक है, आप withdrawals कर सकते हैं बिना penalties के. Now, how is the interest calculated on a savings bank account as per the RBI guidelines? So, daily product basis, this is how we calculate the interest, on the basis of daily frequency and also what kind of product it is. Now, what happens if the number of withdrawals in the savings bank account exceeds the limit? So, in that particular case, a penalty would be levied or interest may be denied as per the bank's policy. Now, what is the minimum period for a term deposit of less than 15 lakhs in Indian banks? Kitna minimum period hai? So, this is 7 days, right? We'll just do the correction over here. It is 7 days. Now, what is the interest treatment on an FD maturing on Sunday or bank holiday? अगर कोई एफडी है जो संडे या बैंक हॉलिडे को मैच्योर कर रही है तो आप उसका इंटरेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट कैसे करेंगे? सो ओवर हियर इंटरेस्ट कंटिन्यूज टू बी पेड एट द ओरिजिनल डेट for the intervening non-business days until the deposit is paid on the next working day, right? So over here interest would be paid on the next working days as per the contracted rate, even though it is a public holiday. Now what is the usual margin maintained by banks when they are giving the advances against their own fixed deposit receipts? So you might have heard that loans are given against the fixed deposit. So what is the margin maintained by the banks in that particular case? So 10 to 20% is the margin that the banks maintain. 80 to 90% value loan is given. Now, which of the following is true regarding the premature withdrawal of a fixed deposit? अगर premature withdrawal किया जाता है तो interest is paid at the rate applicable for the actual period minus a penalty. ठीक है, penalty charge की जाएगी आपसे. Maximum tenure time deposits के लिए Indian banks में this is 10 years, right? Then you have what is the usual margin percentage for a loan against a fixed deposit in India. So we have known it, 80 to 90%. Now, which of the following statement is true regarding the automatic renewal of fixed deposit? कैसे automatic renewal? So renewal period and interest rates may vary based on the bank's policy, even on the automatic renewal. It depends on what is the bank policy in this particular regard. Now, what is the interest rate applicable on overdue FD that is not claimed after maturity as per the recent RBI rules? तो अब इस केस में क्या इनके साथ में क्या किया जाएगा? So as per the recent RBI rules, if the FD remains overdue, it will attract the interest rate of the savings account, because once it has attained the maturity, we are not going to provide you the interest rate of an FD. ठीक है, हम आपको FD का तो इंटरेस्ट रेट देंगे नहीं, तो आप सेविंग्स अकाउंट का जो है इंटरेस्ट रेट ले सकते हैं. Now, who is eligible to submit Form 15G and 15H for non-deduction of TDS on interest income? So, individuals whose total income is below the taxable limit, they are eligible to submit it, right? 15G is for the individual and 15H is for the senior citizens whose income fall below the exemption limit. Now, which of the following best describes the working of two-in-one account with sweep-in facility? क्या है sweep-in facility? So, it combines the benefits of FD with a savings account, allowing for liquidity and higher interest rates, right? So, we have already seen the sweep-in, sweep-out facility, right? So, over here, customers can enjoy higher interest rate and on excess balance with the added liquidity whenever they need it. So, यहाँ पे आपको दोनों का benefit मिल जाएगा. Now, what happens if a customer does not maintain sufficient balance in their savings or current account for auto sweep to a fixed deposit? अगर नहीं maintain करते हैं, so the bank withdraws from the fixed deposit if created to cover the shortfall. ठीक है, fixed deposit में से withdraw कर लेते हैं. Why? Because obviously in case of fixed deposit, bank has to pay the higher amount of interest rate. So that is why bank withdraws from the fixed deposit to cover the shortfall. Next is, which of the following is true regarding the recurring deposit account? So a customer must pay a fixed amount every month for the agreed duration. So this is what the basic feature of the recurring deposit account. Now, which of the following is true regarding unclaimed deposits with the bank? So bank has to transfer the unclaimed deposit to the depositor education and awareness fund after 10 years. 10 साल के बाद में ट्रांसफर कर देना है. A nomination in a bank deposit account can be made in favor of, right, just leave this particular question over here. So what is the time limit for banks to settle a claim of the deceased depositor as per the RBI guidelines? So they have 15 days to settle a claim of the deceased depositor. That is the case. 15 दिन के अंदर अंदर आपको claim settle करना पड़ेगा. In case of jointly held locker accounts, what governs the access to the locker upon the death of a hirer? So in that particular case, number of lockers held या फिर type of survivorship clause and nomination. So this is the correct answer. In the case of jointly held locker accounts, access to the locker upon the death of the hirer would be based on type of survivorship clause as well as the nomination. ये उसके ऊपर dependent होगा. Next is, what are the conditions for premature withdrawal of term deposit upon the death of the depositor? So in that particular case, it is allowed without any penalty as per the clause in the account opening form. ठीक है, आप premature withdrawal कर सकते हैं, but it depends on what has been the clauses of your account opening form. Next is, if a deposit account holder dies, how should bank treat pipeline flows in his name? So either the credit to estate or return to the remitter. So अगर account holder मर जाता है, so in that particular case, the bank has to either transfer the credit to his estate or return that to the remitter, whosoever has sent that. Now, what is the maximum loan to value ratio that is allowed by the RBI for home loans up to 30 lakhs? So that is 90%. This is what the RBI allows. Next is, which of the following categories of individuals is not explicitly eligible for home loans as per the scheme? So agricultural laborers with no income proof, they are not eligible for the home loans. Next is, what is the typical repayment period for home loans as per the scheme? तो कितना typical repayment period होता है? Up to 30 years. That is flexible. In what cases the upfront disbursement of the home loans typically permitted, right? So in case if it is a ready to move in flat or house, so upfront disbursement is also permitted. Margin requirement कितना है for home loans above 75 lakhs? So this is 25% is the margin requirement. Next, what is the maximum age limit for home loan repayment for salaried persons? ठीक है, क्या age limit है home loan repayment के लिए? If the person is a salaried person, this is 65 years. So repayment must be completed before retirement and not beyond 65 years of age. Now, which of the following feature is commonly offered as an add-on in many home loans product? क्या add-on दिया जाता है? So health or life insurance of the borrower. This is given as an add-on to protect the loan that has been provided by the bank. ठीक है? Who are the identified central nodal agencies for disbursing the CLSS subsidies? So National Housing Bank and the HUDCO, right? They are permitted to give these kind of subsidies. Next is under PMAY Awas Yojana, ownership of the house is mandated in whose name? So female head or the co-owner's name. Right. Now, what is an NPV used to calculate interest subsidy under the CLSS? So that is 9% NPV we calculated in order to calculate the interest subsidy. Now, which of the following institutions is not a primary lending institution under the CLSS? कौन नहीं है? So private builders, they are not the primary lending institutions. Right. Then we have, as per the RBI guidelines, housing loans can be extended to individuals for which of the following purposes? किसके लिए दिया जा सकता है? So obviously self-occupied second house in another town, it can be given for the individuals. Speculative चीजों के लिए नहीं दिया जा सकता, स्पेकुलेटिव रियल एस्टेट एक्टिविटीज के लिए इट कैन नॉट बी गिवन. नाउ विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज अ कॉमन एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया फॉर बोथ होम इंप्रूवमेंट लोन्स एंड होम डेकोर लोन्स. अगर होम इंप्रूवमेंट या फिर होम डेकोर लोन्स आप ले रहे हैं, सो एप्लीकेंट मस्ट हैव अ मिनिमम 3 years ऑफ कंफर्म्ड सर्विस, दैट इज एन एलिजिबिलिटी कंडीशन, right? So that we can ensure that you have got the job stability and repayment capacity. Now what is the typical margin required for home improvement and home decor loans? को इस केस में आपको कितना margins यहाँ पे चाहिए होगा? So all the banks, if you will see, they range between 20 to 50%, right? It depends on the banking conditions. Now, which of the following is not eligible for a vehicle loan from banks as per the standard norms? Vehicle loan के लिए कौन eligible नहीं है? So your HUF, they are not eligible for vehicle loans as per the bank's norm. Now, what is the primary security taken by the banks for vehicle loans? क्या है? So hypothecation of vehicle. If you will be unable to pay the loan, then your vehicle would be taken in, right? And what is the typical margin required for a new four-wheeler vehicle loan? क्या margin रखा जाता है? So 10% is the margin that is kept for a new four-wheeler. So what is the usual repayment period for a new four-wheeler vehicle? Normally it is kept at maximum 7 years for individuals, right? For two-wheelers 5 to 6 years. Now, what is the unique requirement for vehicle loans extended to the NRI? So, over here, they have to give a third-party guarantee if a vehicle loan is being extended to NRI, right? Next is, which of the following is a distinguishing feature of the personal loan compared to the secured loan? So, personal loans, they are unsecured and they are backed by the personal guarantee only, right? And next is, which of the following purpose is not typically covered under the personal loan scheme? So purchase of agricultural land, this is not something for which we are providing you the personal loans. Now what type of collateral is generally accepted for secured personal loan? किस तरीके के collateral को हम यहाँ पे accept करते हैं? So assignment of LIC policies or NSE, this is something that we take in for the secured personal loan. Usual repayment period for the unsecured personal loan, to 36 to 60 EMIs, this is the usual payment period. Which of the following statement is true regarding disbursement of personal loans? So, for clean loans, disbursement is mandatory to the borrower's account. ठीक है, कहाँ आपको पैसा देना है? Borrower के account में, right? Which of the following is true regarding the repayment terms for an educational loan under the model scheme, right? So repayment is going to begin after the course period plus 1 year would be given as moratorium because the person has just studied, so he might not be having the enough amount to make the payment. So that is why this particular moratorium period would be allowed. Next is, what is the maximum loan amount generally available under the education loan model scheme for the studies abroad? So normally it is given 20 lakhs, right? Under what conditions is a third party guarantee required as security for an educational loan? किस condition में आपके लिए third party guarantee जरूरत होगी? For the loans above 4 lakhs or up to 7.5 lakhs, you require the personal guarantee, right? Next is, which in the following expenses it's not explicitly mentioned as eligible for educational loan scheme? So for extracurricular certification programs, that is not eligible. Eligible expenses are college, hostel fee, travel, lab, library, cost of books and equipments, and even study tours, that is eligible. So these are all the questions that you have to see in the module B part 1. Stay tuned for the part 2 of module B.